Welcome back, everyone. You know it's Thursday. That means we're out in the garden. It's a little windy today, if you can't tell by my hairdo, with LaRene from Mill Creek Gardens. And you know what? You always bring so many fun things. And I noticed over here you brought some vegetables.
Sure, you can still grow your own. And at Mill Creek Gardens, we have large starts for you to be getting in the garden. You can even get a 2-gallon jalapeno pepper. There's some large tomato starts. We also have some large cucumber starts. There's some really awesome peppers. There's still lots of vine crops like the melons and the pumpkins. So come and have a look in the greenhouse to see what we have.
Okay, so you can plant these large starts right now, which means you'll be getting your vegetables pretty soon, right?
Some of them have starts on them already. They have some fruit on them. I even ate a pepper yesterday. It was really good, a bell pepper.
It's not too late, so get your veggies going. All right, what else did you bring?
I brought some colorful shrubs today. Some people think, oh, they just have all green. Some people don't like golds, but if you put greens and golds and blue together, just want you to look at this group. Now, pretend this is like expansed out in your yard. It's wonderful. But you know what's coming up this weekend is Father's Day. Let's talk about planting trees. I brought a small Japanese maple. This is a beautiful Japanese maple. We have a new shipment in. This is rainbow Japanese maple. It's going to need quite a bit of shade, but look at the color coming into those leaves. So plant a tree with your dad, for your dad. I planted one years ago. My sister and I tied yellow ribbons on it, and it gave him a beautiful silver maple that's huge now on the west end of his deck because he always wanted shade.
Can people come in and say, I have this particular spot in my garden and this is the light it gets and I have no idea, and you'll say, what about your soil? And then you can help them?
We can help you with what to plant, and on the soils we want you to plant with the Gardener and Bloom planting mixes. Now let me tell you about a couple of these trees. We have a hornbeam, which is really columnar. The leaves are really beautiful in texture. There's a red leaf maple here. This gets gigantic like they do at the parks. And then right behind here we have a flowering Idaho locust. It's going to get some beautiful pink flowers on it during the growing season, and it has these locust type of leaves. There's also a golden smoke tree that is beautiful. It'll take partial shade. It's really beautiful. And let's talk about some summer blooming perennials now. This is one of my favorites. It's in the Cranesbill wild geranium family. This is beautiful. It's going to bloom most of the summer. Here's its little cousin, not quite as vibrant of purple color. These have great fall color on the leaves too. We have
wait a minute, I don't mean to interrupt you. Is one of those a bush and one a trailer?
They're both trailers. This one here will just get taller. This is just really low. Okay, this is a beautiful little campanula. It's from the Adriatic area, so around Croatia, Italy area. This is a yarrow, which is a native flower here. This one happens to be paprika. It's red. It's beautiful. It blooms in the summer. A couple of other really neat ones. This one here is a tall phlox. It has beautiful foliage on it. It's multicolored. And then this one here is our favorite Scabiosa pincushion flower. It comes in pink and purple. Blooms like crazy all summer long. Okay, one more super cool one. I have to tell you about this one. This is from the Denver Botanical Gardens. It's the Plant Select brand, and it's actually a perennial gazania. The flowers close up at night, so they're just starting to open up. Really cool foliage. There's all these other beautiful plants here, so come to Mill Creek Gardens. We'll tell you more. I mean, this is a euphorbia. Here's a striped grass. So even in your perennials here, you can add multicolors to your garden, including this wonderful Artemisia silvermount. It's very soft. Here's its cousin right here. This and here's a trailing one. This is kind of like Dusty Miller,
yes,
but it's a trailer, and it also can go on the side of a pot and trail down. So I told you about all these exciting things at Mill Creek Gardens, and I'm excited about them. So come in and we'll tell you more.
She's so excited. Can you see her? You know, I want to ask you, so when you're planting things and you have your annuals and you have perennials that are blooming, you need to throw in some texture with maybe your grasses or your bushes or things like that?
Great movement in the garden, and when they seed out here in July and August, September, I've seen some grasses that are really getting tall because of the heat we've had, and they are just beautiful to add to texture and contrast to the garden. And their fall colors are amazing too. Now, you know, the question of the day is really fun. What's our question?
Okay, so the question of the day is, do ladybugs really work to control pests in the yard?
They really work to control pests, and this is a bag of about 1,500 ladybugs. So I just want to show you that you just release them in the cooler part of the day. They actually are in this bag, and they really do work. They control a lot of aphids. Take part of the bag and release it. Go ahead and just set it in the area where you want the aphids to be taken care of. And you know, you're going to have a bunch of ladybugs around here today because we're releasing 1,500 right now.
Perfect.
As we speak. Let them go on their own. It's a beautiful way to reduce the toxicities in the environment and take care of aphids.
Let me ask you something. Now, what are the trees, bushes, plants that ladybugs really like? Because I know, like, I have rose bushes. They seem, not ladybugs, aphids seem to gobble up all over those, and some kind of trees too.
Sure, and sometimes when the plants are stressed is when the aphids and the critters will take over on them. So for sure, rose bushes, but also things like beech tree, they oftentimes will get an aphid on them. You just have to watch your garden. Now see how those are starting to release out of there, and they're kind of tickling my hands right now. They're not going to hurt us, but they've got food in here, and you can just release them, close the bag up if you release part of them, staple it back up, put it in your fridge for the night, and there you have it, beautiful ladybugs.
Now, if they leave your garden, does that mean that you're pest-free?
No, I don't think so. I think there's always going to be pests in our garden. I think there's always going to be a few weeds out there, and that's just nature.
All right. What else did you bring back here? Some vines?
Yeah, I brought these clematis vines. Next week, I want to talk a lot more about vines. This is a beautiful clematis vine, and this one happens to be Killen Donahue. And Donahue is a clematis breeder, so this is a wonderful one. And this is also a summer blooming hibiscus. It's in the Rose of Sharon group. Yes. This one happens to be a single flowering one, and they are fantastic. They'll bloom for the next couple of months.
You know, the fun thing about both of those plants is the colors that they come in, and especially that clematis, the different blooms. You can get all kinds of things in that variety.
There's one we have right now called Sweet Autumn Clematis. It's a little white flower, and it blooms in the fall, and it is fragrant as all get out.
Oh, we love that in the garden.
It's so exciting this time of year. It's just really fun to add all these things to the garden and to put trellises up, put maybe some columnar narrow things in, some low growing, some things that burst with color through the summer. So come in and we can tell you more about it. It's always a great day at Mill Creek Gardens.
It so is. As a matter of fact, you know, your place out there, you, in addition to the trees and plants and shrubs, you have little things like benches and arbors and all kinds of things that add another accent to your garden.
And speaking of that, we have all our trellises 20% off right now. And this weekend from 11 to 2 on Saturday, we have another barbecue, a free barbecue.
Did you hear that? Now, not only did you got to eat Memorial Day weekend, and now this weekend you're going to feed us as well. That's so amazing. Mill Creek Gardens, that's what we're talking about. Let me tell you where the address is. It's 3500 South 9th East, right there in Salt Lake City. It is the place with all the cars outside. It is always booming. The number will be 487-4131. If you have questions, you know what? Give them a call or go out and see them and say, this is what's going on with me. And they will sell you a bag of 1,500 ladybugs, just like we now have out here in our garden. MillCreekGardens.com. We'll have it on our screen. Just go to abc4.com. Click on Good Things Utah, and we will link you right there. Don't forget, with your question of the week, go to their Facebook page, put it out there, and if it's chosen, you'll get a gift card to Mill Creek Gardens. LaRene, thank you so much for bringing all your fun things and your critters that you brought. They're everywhere. They're even in your hair. Did you know that?
They tickle me to death here.
They are in your